Hey guys, we're going to do complete in the square. So, if you feel so inclined, go ahead and take this warm up and pause the video and try to solve it. Alright, we're back. Let's look at the solution real quick. Boop. Oh, you wanted the x. Okay. Again, if we put 5 on top, negative 6 on the bottom, should be negative 5 and negative 1. Because negative 5 minus 1 adds up to negative 6. But then multiply us to get positive 5. But remember, we're solving. So remember, we decided to do the opposite when we're solving. Please do not confuse this with factoring. When we factor, this is what I want to see. When we're solving, we need to go that one step further. Okay? Boop, bam, wham. Again, this is a review, but when we're completing the square, we're looking at this concept about 2, the middle term being doubled, and the last one being squared. Okay? Now, what this is saying is, without the middle term, we're skipping this part. We're trying to get a trinomial to work in our favor. You'll see what this looks like when we get our example done. Boop. Again, in class, we discussed how the 3, let me change color. Well, blue's fine. The 3, when you times it by 2, you get the 6. But when you square it, you get the 9. See, 3 is half of 6. 9 is 3 squared. Same concept down here with the 4. 4 squared is 16. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay? This is the concept we're trying to use. Oh, this 4 should be blue. Fixed it. If you want to take these notes, you know what to do. Go ahead and pause it. But anyway, let's try to fill in these blanks. Okay? That concept earlier. Take the 5 and square it. That's right, 25. Okay, again, notice this relationship. 10 divided by 2 gives us the 5. 5 squared gives us the 25. Again, negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 squared, 64. Keep going. Half of 20 is 10. 10 squared, 100. Negative 14. Half of that, negative 7. Negative 7 squared, 49. Notice all of these are positive because we're squaring them. Two negatives make a positive. Two positives make a positive. And we got them all right. Now, I left this blank. So, 22 divided by 2 is 11. And 11 squared is 121. Again, half of negative 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. Half of 30, 15. 15 squared, 225. Half of negative 12, negative 6. Negative 6 squared, 36. Okay, that's the pattern we need to see here. Also, we are going to be factoring. We're completing the square so we can factor it in a nice manner so we can solve these equations. Okay? Well, see something in blue down here. What is this? If you can do this, you can solve quadratics by completing the square. It's kind of like if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a dodgeball. Alright, so completing the square. We have x squared plus 6x plus 8. So, we need to make some space. I'm going to subtract the 8 and draw my line. X squared plus 6x We need that blank there. Negative 8. See, those cancel. Just like we practiced before. Half of 6 is 3. But 3 squared is 9. So we're going to put a plus 9 right here. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So 9 minus 8 is 1. Like I discussed on the last page, we're factoring this. We completed the square should work in our favor. So x plus 3 squared. See that 3 coming back into play? Again, just like the previous screen, or here, I'll go to this one. Again, see, if we were to factor this, reduce this, it would be x plus 11. Again, half of 22 is 11. 121 is 11 squared. That's where this idea comes from. So now that we have x plus 3, and that's being squared, and it equals 1, solve it like we've been taking the square roots. Take the square root. Then you have x plus 3. The square root of 1 is plus minus 1. Don't forget, we got to incorporate that plus minus idea. And then from here, we split it. So x plus 3 equals 1. X plus 3 equals negative 1. Subtract 3. Subtract 3. Let's see, this one is negative 4. And this one is negative 2. Okay, and that's it. Oof. Let me try that again. I could do better brackets. Yes. Good looking brackets. All right, let's look at another one. Boop, beep, bam, bam, blam. Let's go. Let's get to our next one. But obviously, I posted these notes so you can check your work. Okay? So, let's try this one out. Again, pause the video, try it out yourself. We'll take a drink. All right. Again, let's make some space. Subtract 5. Whoop. X squared minus 6x blank equals negative 5. Half of negative 6 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. So we're adding 9 again. Again, we're factoring this in our favor. See, negative 3. And 9 minus 5 is 4. So take the square root. And we get x minus 3 equals plus minus 2. The radical goes away because the square root of 4 is 2. Okay, split it. So we get x minus 3 equals 2. X minus 3 equals negative 2. Add 3. We get 5. Add 3. We get 1. So 1 and 5. Shoo, this is looking good. Again, I did the right thing. Let's do another one. This one is going to be imaginary, but remember, it's no real solution, okay? You're still following the same step. Subtract 2, make some space. Half of 2 is 1. What you do to one side, you do the other. So that when we get that negative 1, that's where our problems happen. Because when we take the square root, we cannot do this. No, no, no. So here's that imaginary number idea I told you all about. And if you were to solve it, you would get negative 1 plus I, negative 1 minus I. But again, that means no real solution. So if you're asked this question and you get this negative stuff, there's no real solution. or you did it wrong. Okay. Boop. We'll do one of these problems and I'll call it a night. So, I'm going to subtract 32 from both sides. And we get n squared minus 18n, excuse me, blank equals negative 32. So some side work, half of negative 18 is negative 9. Negative 9 squared is 81. So I'm going to add 81 to both sides. This is going to factor nicely because I completed the square. So x minus 9 squared should equal whatever 81 minus 32 is. So if you're keeping up with me, 81 minus 32 should be 49. And check this out. Take the square root. Square root of 49 is 7. So x minus 9 equals plus minus 7. Split the problem up. And if you haven't figured it out by now, yeah, you should have some notebook paper. There's no space to do this on the worksheet. Add 9. 9 plus 7 is 16. Add 9. And we get x equals 2. So 2 and 16 for that one. Let's see if there's a hard one. If not, we'll just call it a night. I think I got time. I'll do one more. Let's do 19. So, subtract 93. We got to make the space. Well, again, pause it, try it yourself, etc., etc. So, x squared plus 20x blank equals negative 96. Okay. So, 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 squared is 100. So we're adding 100. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Sorry about that. So x plus 10 should be squared. Again, we completed the square, so we can easily factor that out. 100 minus 96 is, well, 4. Take the square root like we've been doing. X plus 10 equals plus and minus 2. Split it up, or if you're at the point where you just do it in your head, whatever, more power to you. Subtract 10. And this is negative 8. Subtract 10. And this is negative 12. So, yeah. Remember, practice, practice, practice. All right, see you later.